there, this is Data, and welcome to the TNA Push. As always, I'm joined by my co-host. He's the star of the show, and he allegedly has no relation to Steve Macklin. He's the one and only Burt Macklin.
How's it going? How's it going?
It's going good. So, the road to the fallout from TNA Genesis continues tonight. We have quite a few things to talk about. Let's kick things off talking about this Nick Nemeth promo, which opened tonight's show. He was talking about how TNA Genesis was a hell of a show and a great night for the company. It might not have been a great night for him, but it was a great night for TNA. His own brother interrupts him, and he starts doing the whole calling Joe Hendry a flash in the pants, a poser, a fraud, a filthy fake fraud. So it's like, who is Ryan Nemeth to call Joe Hendry those things when what has Ryan Nemeth done?
Yeah. And, well, what he has done is played the role of a complete dork very well. I'm annoyed by him. But yeah, this was something. I was laughing. It's just funny that this is what they're going with, and I think so far it is working. So I like this segment.
Yeah, I like it too. I think Ryan Nemeth is doing a really good job in his role. He's playing that really annoying heel so well. And then First Class also interrupts. And basically, AJ Francis brings up Final Resolution, which we all know was main evented by himself and Nick Nemeth for the TNA World title. He brings up the fact that, that match got him to re-sign to TNA, and a lucrative offer from TNA as well. And Ryan Nemeth, he jumps the gun. AJ Francis in First Class didn't even bring up a match, and Ryan Nemeth was already yeah, it'll be tonight. We'll get a match, and he was the one making the match here, basically, because First Class didn't even suggest a match. They were hinting at it, but they didn't even say it straight out. Ryan Nemeth was the one that did it. And then Santino comes out, and he makes the match official between the Nemeth brothers, and I believe he called First Class Fish Class.
Yeah, that's funny. Back to Ryan Nemeth, the one volunteering. Yeah, he's definitely trying to attach himself to his brother's success. You know what I mean? Trying to ride his coattails. So, because really, like you said, what has he done? All he's known is Nick Nemeth's little brother. So, because didn't AJ say, "Let me speak to the good Nemeth"?
Yeah.
Didn't it? Yeah, that popped me when he said that. So yeah, I like this segment, and I also like and we'll talk about it. The show ends with starts and ends with First Class. So, and I think that they're the best thing going in TNA currently. So
they are, and I hope that they do become tag team champions.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next we get an Ariana Grace interview, Miss NXT, the liaison. She's interrupted by Tessa Blanchard, and it's funny that she mentions that Ariana Grace is just a girl that got everything handed to her by her father, unlike her who had to work extremely hard. I mean, it's no secret Ariana Grace is the daughter of Santino Marella here. And the fact that Tessa went off on her and went off on Gia, I wonder if this is a small planting of the seeds for maybe Tessa possibly working NXT. Maybe a match with Ariana Grace, you think?
Maybe. I see that more happening on maybe NXT, on TNA side, if anything. But it could happen.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, you're right. Maybe we might get Ariana Grace versus Tessa Blanchard, but in TNA, not in NXT. So we gotta wait and see. All right, next we get a Cora Jade segment, and she's walking backstage looking for Masha Slamovich. She runs into Zaya Brookside, and she's very disrespectful to Zaya Brookside, saying that she's looking for Masha. Now, Zaya Brookside, and I didn't know this, but Zaya Brookside brings up the fact that her dad trained a Cora Jade And, security gets involved because there's a little scuffle between them. But it's nothing too serious. This leads into Cora Jade versus Hyan. I have to say, Hyan is a very talented wrestler. I cannot believe TNA hasn't signed her to a contract yet. This match really didn't showcase what Hyan can do because this was more about Cora Jade than anything else. But Hyan herself is extremely talented. If you go back and watch some of her past matches in TNA, that when they've used her for in Texas, she's really talented. Cora Jade did win this. She attacked Hyan post-match. Xia Brookside came out to help Hyan. Jade attacked Hyan and Xia Brookside. And she hit Jaded on Brookside, and then Masha came out and Jade ran away. So I actually really like this. I think Cora Jade fits in perfectly with TNA. But what are your thoughts on this? On her match with Hyan and her segment with Xia Brookside?
Well, first of all, go back to I didn't know her dad trained Cora either. That was a cool little fact right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then they should definitely sign Hyan. I don't know why they haven't already, and maybe they have just because this was a tape show. Maybe that's something that's already being planned. But like you said, you put it perfectly. This was more about Cora Jade, and building up to her match with Masha.
Yeah, definitely. We still haven't gotten when that match is gonna happen. So maybe Worlds Collide pay-per-view, maybe on that Full Sail show.
Yeah, I could see them making that a really big show since that is NXT territory, kind of making that like a TV special / pay-per-view, you know what I mean? Style show. So yeah, I would save it till then.
Justice says Hyan was a good pick of an opponent to formally introduce Cora to the TNA audience. I agree. Definitely a really good pick. Particularly maybe Vengeance. I haven't heard if it's a very first if it's a very special for TNA. You haven't heard. Oh, you haven't heard if there's. You know what? We haven't heard either. There is a February special. I know NXT's Vengeance Day on February 15th, but we don't really know if TNA is doing something. They usually do Sacrifice, or is it No Surrender in February? It's No Surrender. I always get my S shows mixed up.
Yeah.
But No Surrender this time, Sacrifice is going to be in March, so I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens with whatever they announce. Like Bert mentioned, maybe that Full Sail special is going to be like a special episode because it's live. So maybe that's like a special themed episode for TNA in February. All right. Next, we get a Wes Lee interview. And he's talking about people keep asking him, why, Wes? Why? Well, if you don't know, his first name is Desmond. I still call him Des sometimes. He said that he's been asked, why did he cut his hair? Why did he change his gear? Why does he continue to ruin the Rascals' plans? Now, I don't know much about this. You watch NXT more than I do, so this pairing between Tyson and Tariq and Wes, he says that he promised them to make them tag team champions if they make him world champion. If they'll take out everybody who sends in, we're starting with Ace Austin tonight. So explain this pairing to me a little bit because I don't watch NXT.
I'm not exactly caught up. I haven't watched. I kind of took a break last week from watching much wrestling, so I'm not caught up. But no, but just real quick though, I will add, I like that what they're doing here. Just because we talk about the match, I'll explain. Just because I do like this pairing. I think it works.
Okay. I think it works too. Like I said, I don't watch NXT on a weekly basis, so I'm not too familiar with how this pairing came to be, but I think it works. Oh, Justice says it just came out of nowhere. A pairing of Wes and Tyson and Tariq. The reason they gave was that Wes is trying to mentor them. I see. Okay. I guess that makes sense. So next, we get an Elegance brand segment. That's what I'm going to start calling Heather and Ash by Elegance. And they basically complained to Santina Morales in that they were robbed at Genesis. We find out that next week there's going to be a Knockouts Battle Royal, and the winner will get a shot at the Knockouts World title. The Elegance brand, Spitfire, they're all gonna be in it, and that's pretty much it. So I'm very curious to see how this Knockouts Battle Royal is gonna work. Are we gonna see all TNA knockouts? Are we gonna see women from NXT? And I feel like they're gonna use this Knockouts Battle Royal to continue the feud with Spitfire and the Elegance brand. It seems like that's the direction that we're going here. That feud is not over based on this. But what are your thoughts on this segment?
Yeah, well, in terms of the battle royale, I hope we get teams from NXT because I do, and because of that, I hope that this feud is over for a while. Just because, even though I wish Elegance Brand would have won the titles, I don't want to see this continue too much longer. Just because they need to switch it up.
I have to agree with you. I really felt like the feud should have ended at Genesis. You know, it was a clear cut finish. Well, actually, they bring up the fact that the member of Spitfire who got the pin wasn't even the legal competitor. I gotta go back and rewatch that ending now because I don't recall that.
I don't recall that either. Did they just bring that up on tonight's show?
Yeah.
If that's true, then they really need to build on that. Because then I feel like then the match needs to happen again, and then I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Same. Justice Elegance branch to go after WWE Women's Tag Team Championship Bianca Belair and Naomi. I don't think that they would even stand a chance against Bianca and Naomi.
They wouldn't.
Hey Eric, how are you? Yeah, solid show tonight, definitely. So we get Brian Myers versus Leon Slater. I don't know if you caught this, but I caught it. So they actually botched Brian Myers' name. They spelled it Biran. So
Biran
Myers. Yeah,
I didn't catch that.
I caught it. I was like, I had my glasses on and everything. I was like, did I see that correctly? And I rewind it, and I was like, oh, I did see it. They botched Brian Myers' name.
That's funny.
I thought it was hilarious too. So this was a good match between Brian Myers and Leon Slater. The system seems to be have their eyes on Leon Slater here. But the only reason Brian Myers won was because Slish put the ring on his hand and he knocked out Leon Slater with the roster cutter. So Brian Myers is victorious here. But what are your thoughts on this match?
This was a surprisingly good match. It's not like I thought it was going to be a bad match, but yeah, very fun. And Leon Slater, yeah, and we'll talk more about it because of the segment after. But I hope he doesn't turn heel, just because it seems like there's actually a lot of heels right now, and way few baby faces. So, real quick, if he was to turn heel, I would hope it would be with Kazarian. The system doesn't need another member.
I'll give more comment when we get to that segment. We're almost there. So we get a Steph DeLander and Mance Warner segment, and she says that the title, the digital media title, is hers because she won it in the divorce. This is the first time I hear about this. Well, I mean, she brought it up last week, but still, like, this is the first time I hear someone winning the title in a divorce.
Well, I could see that because usually, like, they divide up property. You know what I mean? So she has to get something, and whoever negotiated it probably, she said she wanted the title and she got it. She probably had a great lawyer.
Yeah, she it seems like she had a great lawyer. She got the digital media title.
I wonder if it was Joseph Park. Park. I could see them handling that kind of case.
Oh my god, that is hilarious. I understood that reference. It says, this is a weird TNA staying face because PCO's contract was up, but he didn't drop the title. LL, or maybe a relative of Joseph Parks.
I thought this was a really clever way that they kind of ended the PCO storyline. And again, it was a way to bring Steph back early. Even if she can't wrestle, she can be on screen again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Mance Warner, I think, fits the profile of someone who fits TNA. So
I haven't heard or read anything. Is he officially signed with TNA, or is this just like a temporary thing?
I'm not sure, but I hope it is, just because he's somebody. Again, he's somebody who, I think fits the roster.
Yeah, and he gets attacked by Sami Callihan, and he starts screaming, "I'm gonna kill you!" So, all right. So Leon Slater's backstage. Frankie Kazarian calls him Buttercup. And once again, he offers to mentor Leon Slater. He says he could carry his trophy, maybe occasionally get him a cup of coffee. And this just sets Leon Slater off, because he brings up the fact that both Frankie Kazarian and the system cheated tonight. Now, the system do interrupt. They also offer Slater an opportunity to, I guess, join them and to be mentored by them. But Moose says that he can carry their bags, he can carry their rings. Leash says they could use a secretary. And then they get interrupted by the Hardys. The Hardys kind of come, defend Leon Slater. And JDC calls him the English Hardy Boy. So it seems like we might get a match between the Hardys and Leon Slater versus the system next week.
First off, you didn't mention JDC said something like, "Send me some tapes," or he said something to him like, "Get some tapes and send me them." And so, did you know? I don't know if he just did this, or like if it's always changing. But did you notice that the inside of Frankie Kazarian's trophy matches his scarf?
No.
Yeah,
I didn't pay attention.
No, it's the same color as his scarf. I'm like, okay. That's really funny. Every time he's on screen, he does something, or I notice something. Like he totally, like, the way he's always holding the trophy. This was so funny.
It was. Okay, in all seriousness, Bert, who would you rather have you mentor you? Kaz, and you carry the trophy, maybe occasionally get him a cup of coffee? Or would you rather be with the system, carry their bags, possibly their rings, maybe be a secretary and stuff like that? What would you rather do?
Well, first of all, if we're talking about it, I don't want, like I said, I don't want Leon to turn heel. But if he did, I would rather him go with Kazarian, just because I think the system doesn't need, what would that be, a sixth member. I think he would be lost in the shuffle. So I would, if he turns heel, I would rather him go with Kazarian.
If he turns heel, I do agree. I would rather see him with Kazarian. I think it would make an interesting pairing. So
yeah.
I wouldn't mind him turning heel, especially because we're barely going to be in February, and we still got roughly 7 more months to go before he turns 21.
Yeah, 21. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's still got like roughly 7 months to break the record. He has to win it at Slammiversary. He cannot do it at Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
But I know you didn't answer the question. So who would you rather be paired up with? Frankie Kazarian or the system?
Man, what an offer! Carrying bags. What was the other one?
Carrying bags, the rings, being a secretary, or Kaz's. He carried Kaz's trophy. Maybe get him a cup of coffee every.
That sounds a lot easier. Yeah, just carrying the trophy and getting him a cup. That sounds way easier. I'm going with that.
I don't know. I don't want to carry the trophy. What if I get tired? Can I take a break? I guess I'd rather be with Frankie Kazarian too, because there's there's JDC, Moose, Lish, Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers. There's 5 people. That's like 5 different bags, and imagine each of them has 2. That's like 10 bags you're carrying. Oh hell no!
Yeah, that's a lot.
I just join Frankie Kazarian. I don't mind getting him a cup of coffee every now and then. All right. So next we get a Sami Callihan and Mance Warner segment. They're actually brawling through the crowd. And, he suplexes him on the floor. Sami throws a chair in the ring. He whacks him with the chair. Steph the Lander comes out, and she hands the title to Mance Warner. He ends up hitting Sami with the title, and then SCL holds him down while Warner hits him with the belt, and then Warner and SCL make out in the ring. So I'm actually kind of liking this pairing between them. It's interesting. I think it seems like it might culminate with Sami possibly taking the title, even if SDL has the title.
I wonder if we see if we see just a few matches where because I don't know. I could see them doing something where they have SCL announced for the match. Then you have before the match, you have Mance Warner or whoever beat up her opponent. You know what I mean? So I could see it being intergender, and then she pins them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You mean like a 2-on-1 intergender
No, like
handicap
okay,
match?
let's say Sami Callihan challenges her for the title. Before he even makes it into the ring, I could see Mance jumping him and then throwing him in the ring and then allowing Steph to get the pin. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't be a disqualification.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So like he attacks it before the match
Yeah.
and then just sends his carcass to SDL.
Yeah, because other than that, like because I don't see them having her hold the title for a long time. Because I think she's going to be out for a little bit longer, if not a while.
Mm-hmm.
So other than stripping her or just having her give the title to man, you know what I mean? I don't know what else they're going to do. I mean, what else they could do. I'm trying to think what other ideas.
Yeah. Good question. I think
Like
I like your idea.
Like a finger poke of doom.
Not the finger poke of doom, anything but that.
I'm just saying.
All right. So next we get an Eric Young segment, and Steve Macklin is just basically talking to him about Josh Alexander if he's sure he wants to do this, but Eric Young says that he has to do this. You know, so this was a little interesting segment between them. But as we find out later, which we'll get into when we get there, certainly was interesting. All right, so this is Mustafa Ali versus Laredo Kid. I have to say, I really, really like this match. This was such a great match between them. Again, I feel so bad for Laredo Kid. I mean, I know it wasn't a squash match. Laredo Kid got some offense in, and he did look great. But, you know, I like Laredo Kid. I do trust in Ali, but I like Laredo Kid, and I feel like he's so underrated, you know?
This was because going this after watching the whole show because I thought it could be challenged by Wes versus Ace, and we'll talk about that. But this was the best match on the show. This was so good. The finish of Ali sliding through under the rope, the corner, and then hitting that vicious looking DDT, and then putting him in the ring and hitting the 450. This was a great match.
Yeah, it really was a great match. It was a great pairing of styles. Like they have similar styles, so this was really good.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, you know, he goes backstage and starts cutting a promo. He says that the fans love Ali, and this campaign is going to continue. He's interrupted by Mike Santana, and Mike Santana is basically like, you know, telling him, "I have no problem handling this issue like a man." Because remember, Mustafa Ali interrupted Mike Santana. He didn't even acknowledge Mike Santana in the ring. And Ali says that he can't compete because he just had a match, but he knows he's supportive of that campaign, who is always ready. So are we thinking Matt Cardona here?
I think they already announced it too at the end of the show, I believe. But yeah.
Oh, okay. I missed it. I missed the announcement.
But you know what this segment was? The segment was just two future TNA world champions having a chat.
Crap. Okay, is Ali on your list of future world champions? Potential world champions?
I said that last week. I noted that he's on the list.
Obviously, I think the next two champions are going to be Frankie Kazarian and Santana. I think Frankie's winning it at Rebellion, and Santana is obviously winning it at Summerversary in his hometown, his home state. After that, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out. But for sure, I think those are going to be the next two.
For sure.
The story just dictates, and it's just perfect.
Yes.
So next we get the Northern Armory versus Eric Young and Josh Alexander. Bert, have I not said that Eric Young was going to betray Steve Macklin? He was going to join the Northern Armory, and then they were going to kick Josh Alexander out of the group. Did I not say that?
Well, first, I did retweet you, so yes. But wait a minute. Because I was going to ask you about this. Because if you watch the promo before, Steve Macklin, I think, said something like, I'm going to leave because I know what's about to happen.
Mm-hmm. He did say that.
So, I don't think it's out of reach to think that next week they come back with Steve Macklin, like laughing. Maybe he's a part of this group. You know what I mean? And he just, he cuts a promo saying he didn't want to see, you know what I mean? He didn't want to see it happen. I mean, well, you know what I mean? Like, because he, just like spin it, like say something like, oh, I don't want to see that, because I do respect Josh, but then, he's with these guys. But because I don't necessarily think it means he's turning on Steve Macklin in a sense that, you know what I mean? Because when I think that, I mean, like, they turn on him, they beat him down, you know what I mean? Because, like, the way Steve Macklin left, I think it leaves it with, like, a kind of a question mark. I don't know what to think.
Well,
I think that's the more interesting part.
Considering this group is made of Canadians and Steve Macklin is not a Canadian, logic tells me he's not going to be joining the group.
Yeah, but again, Brian Pillman wasn't Canadian, and he was in the Hart Foundation with all Canadian. I don't think it says that you have to be Canadian to be in this group.
I guess. I mean, yeah, Steve Macklin is a question mark here. What is going to happen with Steve Macklin? But I feel like if he does turn on Steve Macklin, he's going to be feuding with the new Northern Armory, or to take a page out of WWE's book, the Northern Armory 2.0, or the new Northern Armory.
I just think because Steve Macklin feuding with them, I don't really want to see that, just because I don't see Steve Macklin coming out of that good. And then I want the Northern Armory to be a strong faction. I think Steve Macklin with them is better, just because I don't. Well, first of all, I don't see Eric Young going after the world title or him winning it. But I do see Sinner and Saint as future tag team champions. But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens next week.
Me too. I have to say, before we move on, this is like the third thing I've gotten right. Last year I said Lish was going to get the Knockouts tag titles. And then I said that First Class should join the tag team division, and AJ Francis on commentary said that they were going to join the tag team division, and now this. So, like, people obviously watch and listen to our show, Bert.
That's what I think. That's what I think happened, obviously. They're stealing ideas.
I'm still waiting for that Nick Nemeth heel turn.
I think we're a few shows away, but I think it's incoming.
I'm gonna mention more I'll talk more about that when we get to the main event. But anywho, we get Wes Lee versus Ace Austin. This was also a good match. Obviously that the numbers were not in Ace Austin's favors. Good night, Eric. We're not in Ace Austin's favors, as Tyson and Tyreek got involved in this and allowed Wes Lee to pick up the win. And then the Rascals came out to help Ace Austin, and they chased away Des, Tyson, and Tyreek. Our 6-man tag match.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's why. And for real quick, I think this was a good match. I thought it was a little underwhelming. I thought it was going to be the match of the night. That's why I go back and I say that at that point, I thought that this could beat Laredo Kid versus Ali, but it didn't. But this was still a good match. I have no problem with Ace losing, just because I think it's more about setting how he lost with Tyreek and what was the other guy's name? I'm
Tyson and
not.
Tyreek.
Yeah, with Tyson and Tyreek getting involved, I think this is way more about setting up the 6-man with Wentz, Miguel, and Myron Reed. Just because I think that's where they're going to go, even though Myron Reed wasn't there tonight, and obviously they came, Miguel and Wentz came out to save Ace Austin, which obviously that could be the 6-man. That could be the way they go. But I hope it's Reed that comes back, just because that seems like the more natural match to me.
Okay. Yeah, because
just because Myron Reed is part of the Rascals.
Yeah, I know Myron Reed is a part of the Rascals, and I feel like he's often overlooked sometimes. I feel like people think, "Oh, we get a 6-man with the Rascals, it's gonna be their partner." I'm like, "Hello, does Myron Reed?" But I don't know. I could see them teaming with Ace Austin just because of this segment. But we'll see how it plays out. It's either going to be the Rascals with Ace Austin versus Des/Wes Lee, Tyson and Tyreek, or it's going to be the Rascals with Myron Reed versus Wes, Tyson, and Tyreek. So we just gotta wait and see. But it's gonna be one of those two combinations. Jeffrey says, "Hey."
And I definitely like this what they're doing with Tyson, Tyreek, and Wes Lee. Basically him saying, he'll lead the tag team titles. He helps him lead him to the world title. So I really think I like what they're doing. I think that they're positioning him to be the NXT World Champion eventually. This is I think how they get into that next level. So I like that.
Well, let's see if they can convince me to watch NXT on a weekly basis. All right, so we get a Joe Hendry promo, and I actually like this. We're getting a Joe Hendry concert next week. I cannot wait. I was there live for the other Joe Hendry concert we had, with the one that put him on the map when he did the concert on First Class. So I cannot wait for this. I'm so curious to see what song he borrows from. Is it going to be another Creed song? Is it going to be an original song? I cannot wait for this Joe Hendry concert. And I wonder if he's going to get interrupted. He did say he will defend the title against anyone and anywhere. So
yeah, I'm more interested in that just because I want to know who his first feud is going to be. Does Nick Nemeth get a rematch? I don't know if they go to that, but I hope it's somebody from NXT.
I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. Juicy says, "I wonder who gets to embarrassed in the concert." Right? I wonder who gets embarrassed. Oh my god. Okay. So the main event ends up being the Nemeth brothers versus First Class. I thought this was a good match. I really did. Ryan Nemeth stealing the victory from his brother by tagging himself in. So the Nemeth brothers were victorious here. And then I don't know if you saw the exclusive. I don't know why this didn't air, but it was an exclusive. Backstage, Nemeth brothers ran into the liaison, Miss NXT Ariana Grace, and her dad, Santino Marella. And basically, Ryan is advocating for them to win, to get a tag team title shot, since they just beat First Class. And so next week, we're getting Fraxium versus the Nemeth brothers for the NXT tag titles on Impact. So I feel like by pairing up Nick Nemeth and Ryan, I feel like Nick Nemeth's journey back to the title. Do you think we'll get a heel turn?
I can't believe they're doing the Nemeth brothers with Fraxium. That's crazy.
Right?
I could actually see them winning. I don't know why they would do that, but you know what I mean? That's where I could see the heel turn happening. You know what I mean? Real quick, going back to the match, First Class like the perfect team. They work so well together. They're like you know what I mean? And Casey Navarro is so good. I'm glad he's getting this time. I thought the ending was kind of sad. The lasting image of this match was they go from showing the Nemeth brothers in the ring, getting their hand raised, and then you see AJ Francis carrying Casey Navarro on the top of the ring. I was like, oh, what happened?
Right.
But just going back to what you said, I can't believe that they're getting a title. I thought they would maybe get a TNA title shot, but just them getting the NXT shot, that coming out of nowhere, it makes me think that they possibly could win.
I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting, that's for sure. Let's see. Joseph says he loves this version of First Class. AJ and Casey have better chemistry than AJ and Rich. I don't know if Rich Swann is ever coming back to TNA, but I'm glad that Casey Navarro fit just right in with First Class and it didn't feel forced,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad about that. He also says, I'm 50-50 on this one. First off, why this wasn't on TV, but two, I can see why the Nemeth brothers winning for Axim's luck has to run up, but this is where Ryan turns on it. Oh, interesting. He's suggesting a Ryan Nemeth heel turn. And what are we gonna do? Brother versus brother here?
I don't think anybody wants to see that. Not because they care, but more just because they don't want to see that.
To me, Ryan turning on Nick kind of doesn't make sense.
No.
Of his character. Nick attacking, getting sick of Ryan, I can see them do because Ryan's playing his role, the annoying heel. So this is gonna go one of two ways. Either A, Nick Nemeth turns heel and aligns himself fully with his brother, or he gets annoyed with his brother and turns on and attacks his brother, and he's the face here.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to. Let me see. All this time, we thought JBL was working for Nick, but I have a thought. What if he's been working for Ryan? Ryan is desperate for Nick to get gold. That is true. So many twists and turns, and this is what I like. I can't wait to see what the end goal of this storyline is. But I feel like someone's turning heel. I've been saying that for weeks now. Hopefully it happens.
I think that's the one thing that is most likely to happen is the Nick Nemeth heel turn.
Yeah. Alrighty, I guess that's it. Unless there's anything else you want to say or talk about.
No, but real quick where are they taping these next week's shows, or have they already been taped?
They've already been taped. I think the next show is the live Full Cell one.
Okay, the next set of tapings, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't know. Yeah, I didn't really know how many weeks were or how many they taped. So okay.
I think they taped 3 weeks worth of stuff because Genesis was the 19th. We got an episode last week. Let's see. Yeah, Joseph says, I think their next show date for TNA is Full Sail on February 20th, TV taping on 21st. So they have it all taped until the 13th then.
And I don't expect anything with Josh after that date, but I wonder if they taped his last match. I wonder if he has one more match with these set of tapings. Well, I would think what were you saying?
He said on the Chris Van Vliet show that his contract expires February 15th, which would just put him at the end before they do the Full Cell show. So unless he comes to some kind of agreement here, I think this was his final set of tapings.
No, I'm just saying I wonder what his last match will be, or this was the last match that this was the last thing we see.
Mm-hmm. No, I think but based on the timeline, it seems like he could possibly make 2 more appearances on the next week and on the 13th, and then I think the 13th is when they wrap up.
Okay.
So anything else you want to say before we sign off?
No.
All right, well, I got something to say. So, for those of you that don't know, this past Saturday was Bird and I's 1 year anniversary of doing this TNA show. So, I just want to thank everybody who tunes in on a weekly basis. I forgot to put our background on just now. Anywho, they were saying, I just want to thank everybody that tunes in on a weekly basis. Just shout out to you, Joseph Boza. You're here every week. I really appreciate you. To all the new fans that have joined us over the last couple of weeks, Eric, Terrell, especially Io too, Mike. Shout out to Io as well. You guys have made this such a fun experience for us, and we really like the fact that you guys interact with us, and it's not always gonna just be Brett and I talking. Antonio, hey. So thank you guys. It's been one hell of a ride. I can't believe a year went by so fast.
I know. That's very fast.
Right? So thank you guys all for tuning in every week, listening to us talk, chiming in, being part of the conversation. Thank you. It means the world to us from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, really.
Yeah,
I don't have alcohol, but here's to more years of hosting. Or maybe a cup, I don't know. Here's some more years of hosting this post show. And we will continue to host the post show for as long as Body Slam allows us to host a post show. But Bert, where can people find you on social media?
Just on Twitter at BertMac11.
You can follow me at @_. I talk Friday Night SmackDown, Monday Night Raw, AEW Dynamite, TNA Impact. I go live on my channel, Rangers of Wrestling, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, occasional Saturdays and Sundays, and of course, for all things TNA, you guys can tune here every Thursday for Sweet Discuss TNA. But with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever we go live, whenever Body Slam goes live as well. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.